Welcome to The Joyful Alchemist, the podcast where transformation meets inspiration. My name is Lynn Falconer, your guide on this journey of turning life's ordinary moments into extraordinary magic. Here we dive into personal growth, spiritual insights, and practical tools to help you unlock joy, purpose, and abundance. Whether you're seeking clarity, courage, or connection, this is your space to explore, evolve, and embrace the alchemy of joyful living. Let's ignite transformation, one powerful conversation at a time. The Book of Deuteronomy Chapters 1 through 34. Moses spoke to all Israel in the wilderness, recounting their journey from Horeb through the desert to the land promised by God. He reminded them how leaders were appointed to help govern. Choose wise, understanding, and respected men from each of your tribes. He recounted the failure to enter the land at Kadesh-barnea due to fear and rebellion, and how the Lord said, "Not one of these men of this evil generation shall see the good land that I swore to give to your fathers." Israel wandered many years, passing the lands of Esau and Moab in peace. When they encountered King Sihon of Heshbon, the Lord said, "See, I have begun to give Sihon and his land over to you. Begin to take possession." Israel fought and conquered his land, beginning their entry into Canaan. Israel defeated King Og of Bashan and took possession of his territory. Moses recounted giving this land to the tribes of Reuben, Gad, and half of Manasseh. He also pleaded with God to let him enter the promised land. But the Lord replied, "Do not speak to me of this matter again. Go up to the top of Pisgah." Moses urged the people to follow God's statutes and reminded them of the events at Mount Horeb. "You shall not add to the word that I command you, nor take from it." He warned them against idolatry and declared that God alone is worthy. "The Lord is God in heaven above and on the earth beneath. There is no other." Moses repeated the 10 Commandments as given at Mount Sinai and emphasized the covenant between the Lord and Israel. "Hear, O Israel, the statutes and the rules that I speak in your hearing today." He recalled how the people feared hearing God's voice directly and asked Moses to speak for them. Moses delivered the Shema. "Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your might." He instructed them to teach these words to their children and to remember God's goodness when they entered the land flowing with milk and honey. Moses warned Israel not to intermarry with the nations they would conquer. "For you are a people holy to the Lord your God. The Lord your God has chosen you out of all the peoples on the face of the earth to be his people." He reminded them that victory would not come by their strength, but because of God's faithfulness. Moses called on the people to remember how God led and sustained them in the wilderness. He humbled you, causing you to hunger, and then feeding you with manna, to teach you that man does not live on bread alone, but on every word that comes from the mouth of the Lord. He warned them not to become proud when enjoying prosperity in the promised land. Moses reminded them that their possession of the land was not because of their righteousness, but because of the nation's wickedness. Understand then that it is not because of your righteousness that the Lord your God is giving you this good land. He recounted their rebellion, including the golden calf incident. Moses recounted receiving the second tablets. He urged Israel, "What does the Lord your God ask of you but to fear the Lord your God, to walk in obedience to him, to love him, to serve the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul?" Moses exhorted them to love and obey God, promising blessings for obedience and warning of curses for disobedience. "Fix these words of mine in your hearts and minds. Teach them to your children." Moses instructed the people to destroy all idols and worship sites of the Canaanites. "You are to seek the place the Lord your God will choose. There bring your offerings and sacrifices." He emphasized centralizing worship in one location to prevent idolatry. Moses warned about false prophets, family members, or towns that turn to other gods. "You must not yield to them. You must put them to death." He emphasized the importance of purging evil people from among them to preserve holiness. Moses listed clean and unclean animals, repeating the laws of dietary separation. He commanded them to set aside a tithe of all that their fields produce each year, to support the Levites, foreigners, orphans, and widows. At the end of every 7 years, you must cancel debts. Moses urged generosity toward the poor. There will always be poor people in the land. Therefore, I command you to be open-handed. He also spoke of releasing Hebrew servants in the 7th year with provisions. Moses reviewed the feasts of Passover, weeks, and tabernacles, commanding that all males appear before the Lord. He also gave commands for appointing judges. Follow justice and justice alone, so that you may live and possess the land. He outlined judicial procedures for difficult cases and warned against idolatry. He also laid down laws for any future king. He must not acquire many horses or wives. He is to write for himself a copy of this law and read it all the days of his life. Provisions were given for the Levites. Moses warned against sorcery and promised, "The Lord your God will raise up for you a prophet like me from among you. You must listen to him." 3 cities were to be set aside as refuge for accidental killers. Moses emphasized fairness. A matter must be established by 2 or 3 witnesses. Show no pity. Life for life, eye for eye, tooth for tooth. Before battle, priests were to encourage the people, "Do not be afraid. The Lord your God is the one who goes with you." Rules were given for peace offers, sieges, and sparing trees. Moses gave laws for unsolved murders, treatment of captives, inheritance rights, and punishment of a rebellious son. Compassion and order were central themes. You must purge the guilt of shedding innocent blood from your land. Laws addressed returning lost property, helping animals in need, proper dress and protection of wildlife. Further instructions ensured justice in sexual matters and marriage, safeguarding community morals. Moses outlined who may enter the assembly, rules for cleanliness in camp, protection of slaves, and proper treatment of others. For the Lord your God moves about in your camp to protect you and deliver your enemies to you. He reinforced justice for the vulnerable, foreigners, orphans, widows, and prohibited taking advantage of the poor. Do not deprive the foreigner or the fatherless of justice. Remember that you were slaves in Egypt. Rules were laid out for just punishments, fairness in trade, and levirate marriage. Do not have 2 differing weights in your bag, one heavy, one light. You must have accurate and honest weights. Moses instructed how to bring first fruits and tithes with a declaration of gratitude. "I have obeyed the Lord my God. I have done everything you commanded me. Look down from heaven and bless your people, Israel." Moses commanded the building of an altar on Mount Ebal and reciting of curses. The Levites declared curses on secret sins. "Cursed is anyone who dishonors their father or mother," and all the people shall say, "Amen." This promised overwhelming blessings for obedience, prosperity, health, victory, and it detailed severe curses for disobedience. If you do not obey, you will be cursed in the city and cursed in the country. Moses gathered the people to reaffirm the covenant. "I am making this covenant with its oath, with you who are standing here today, and also with those who are not here today." He warned them not to turn to idols. Moses proclaimed hope for restoration if Israel repented. He urged them to choose wisely. "I have set before you life and death, blessings and curses. Now choose life so that you and your children may live." Moses encouraged Israel and Joshua, "Be strong and courageous. The Lord himself goes before you." He handed over the written law to the priests and commanded its reading every 7 years. Moses recited a song to witness against Israel, praising God's faithfulness and warning of judgment for unfaithfulness. He is the rock. His works are perfect. They are a perverse and crooked generation. Before his death, Moses blessed the tribes of Israel individually, highlighting their strengths and futures. There is no one like the God of Jeshurun, who rides across the heavens to help you. Moses went up Mount Nebo and saw the land of promise. There he died in the land of Moab, and the Lord himself buried him. Since then, no prophet has risen in Israel like Moses, whom the Lord knew face to face. Thank you for joining me on this episode of The Joyful Alchemist, where transformation and joy collide. If today's episode inspired you, don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a moment of magic. Keep shining, keep growing, and remember, you have the power to turn the ordinary into the extraordinary. Until next time, stay joyful and keep alchemizing your dreams into reality.